So Don Jr. and Eric Trump went on Fox News and just admitted to all of us what we've been saying this entire time, and that is they are a bunch of grifters. They just say it now, folks. There's no reason for them to hide it anymore. The Trump family, in my mind, has came in and just made a mockery of the office and exploited it and grifted every possible way that they could. I mean, I mean, you could start with the crypto stuff. Absolutely. You could start there, but I could sit here for the rest of this video and we could just stay here. It could end up being one of the longest YouTube videos ever if I just sat here and talked about all of the ridiculous items that Trump would go out there and push, and went so far as to sell his very own Bible, like his brand of it. And I remember a time when I was going to church. When I was growing up, I remember we would have vacation Bible school. And when you had vacation Bible school, so many, you would have a lot of people come that normally didn't show up every single Sunday. Vacation Bible school was a chance for a lot of people to let the kids get out of the house for a while during the evenings, give them some time to themselves. So all of a sudden, the classrooms was double the size during vacation Bible school. But the one thing the church would always do back then is they would always give the kids that showed up a new Bible. All the kids would get a new copy, and it would be a King James version, and they would give it to them. And I remember one minister I had actually kind of frowned upon some of the people who used a highlighter to like go through and highlight the pages. He frowned upon that. He didn't know if that was being respectful to the Word of God to like circle it and put arrows and write notes on the side. He kind of frowned upon that. Yeah, that same dude now embraces a dude that was found liable of sexual abuse and defamed the victim later. A guy who's out there right now, as we look at it, just, best friends and covered up a damn pedophile ring. And now that guy can autograph a Bible and sell it, and that minister's right there pushing it. So your heroes turn out to be assholes, folks. They truly do. And Don Jr. and Eric Trump was never a hero of mine, but they sure as hell prove what assholes they are. And this, like, yeah, we're grifting, so what?
Critics are saying, hey, well, maybe you shouldn't be doing this. The New Yorker, for example, says the number. How much is Trump pocketing off the presidency? Axios. President Trump and his family stand to net $3.4 billion by the end of the second term. David Kirkpatrick reports for the New Yorker in a piece today the number of why it matters. No U.S. president has monetized the highest off in the land quite like this. Eric, your answer to those headlines.
Brian, it's infuriating. We had nowhere to go. Capital One stripped 300 bank accounts from me, 300 in the middle of the night. They sent us a letter after doing business for 20-something years. All your bank accounts for golf courses and condominium buildings and hotels, they're all gone in the middle of the night. I mean, how do you pay your taxes? How do you pay your employees? This happened across the board. It happened with J.P. Morgan Chase. It happened with Bank of America. It happened with First Republic. And this wasn't just happening to the Trumps, people with a lot of zeros on the end. This was happening to conservatives all over the country. We didn't have a damn choice. So before my father, won the election, before my father was in office, we started getting into cryptocurrency. The people in cryptocurrency were being debanked just like Trump was being debanked.
Right.
And you know what? It's become the fastest growing industry anywhere in the world. It's actually removed a lot of the power from the big banks who have weaponized their platforms against the American people, and I could not be more proud to be here.
It's so disgusting to me to see a rich, spoiled son of a billionaire who never had to struggle, who never had to earn anything. Everything was always just handed to him. Go on national television and talk about how, oh, we had to do it. We were the victims in the story. The way that they flip this script and make themselves victims is one of the most disgusting things that I've truly ever seen. The way they just go out there and do it. And what's even more disgusting is they've got good old boys that will never, ever get close to their wealth, nowhere near, that will sit back and cheer that shit on and just be proud of them. Oh, yeah, man, Eric and Don Jr., they're going to bat for us. Eric and Don Jr. does not give a flying fuck about you. They use you. They sell you crappy shit to get you to continue to vote for them and to prop their daddy up so they can all continue to get rich. They found a gullible group of people to sell shit to and profit off the highest office in the land, and somehow they twist it and make themselves victims. And, of course, Don Jr. has to chime in here to just keep lathering it on even worse.
I don't notice them talking about the hundreds of millions of dollars we had to spend fighting lawfare. That doesn't matter, right? That was all nonsense, right? Russia, you name it. Impeachment 1, hoax 2, 3, 4, 5, infinity. No one talks about that. They weaponized the entire full force of United States government against our family. And unlike all the other people who'd served as the presidency before, basically since our founding fathers, Trump was the only guy that was actually a businessman before that. Are we supposed to stop running our businesses? Are we supposed to stop doing anything? He's not involved in these things. We are running those businesses as we have. We came up with a solution to a very real problem that not just us, we didn't just have to face it. Hundreds of millions of Americans either face it or are afraid that they're going to face those kind of problems because they don't just simply conform and fall into line with whatever the talking points are or whatever the liberal agenda is that day.
So yeah, just more victimhood, more blaming, more shifting the blame in another direction, more crying and pouting, and more, there's no more pulling yourself up by your bootstraps in the Republican Party. That they left that behind a long time ago. They left morals and values in the dustbin of history. Now we're over here on the side of that. That script got completely flipped. And then when it comes to the rest of it, it's always that they're the victims in the story and everybody's trying to get them. And so what if we have to grift? I mean, we were businessmen before. Yeah, you were crooked businessmen before. And, back when I was growing up, I used to hear people say, we need a businessman to run the country. And I used to think that might not be a bad idea. But when you have a businessman who has spent most of his life in court battling one lawsuit after another, when you have a businessman who refused to pay his workers and has been, like I said, in court for so many years, how could you ever expect that guy to do a good job with it? So, no, I don't want a businessman to be the president. I don't want a celebrity, and he was both. I don't want a reality show host to be the president, because when a reality show host becomes the president, then it all becomes reality shows. And that's something I want to talk more about in the future as we go forward. But I truly do believe that reality shows, with the help of Fox News and with the help of social media, is what paved the way for Trump. And if you took that out from under him, I really don't think he could have got anywhere. Reality shows always have the same formula. It's always someone getting booted off the show, always someone getting voted off, being mocked and mistreated and kicked to the curb. The old sitcoms that people grew up on back in the 60s, 70s, on up into the 90s for a while, those sitcoms always had some sort of life lesson and some sort of moral in there. But all of a sudden, it just became, hey, let's focus on the villain. Back years ago, old Eddie Haskell was the villain on Leave It to Beaver. He was the bully. He was the snotty kid. He was basically the Don Jr., and he wasn't taken seriously. They would always circle back to Leave It to Beaver to bring the point home. But now we've just put all of the focus on the villains and all the focus on the bad guys, and it's just one of those things. I don't know how we will ever come back from it, because people have had so many years of this, and they've just trained their brains to think this is the real world. And unfortunately it is now, but it never was meant to be this way. But if Trump is going to put the troops on the street, folks, you can damn well bet that he will find a way to grift off of it. And you can also damn well bet that that his sons will go to bat for him and say, yep, Daddy had to do it. So we're going to bring up this article here from the MeidasTouch Network. And again, thank you all so much for being subscribers here on the channel. If you haven't already, be sure and hit that button. We're on the road to 1 million, and I do thank you all for your support on helping us get there. Trump fundraises off D.C. police takeover. Are you shocked? I mean, Don Jr. and Eric Trump, I'm sure, would be sitting back going, Daddy had to. We're the victims. Everybody cry for us. Trump asked supporters for cash as federal agents set up vehicle checkpoints. And yeah, I say vehicle. Somebody called me out on that. I don't know how y'all say it in your part of the world, but down here we say vehicle. Anyway, Donald Trump's campaign is seizing on his newly asserted authority over the Washington, D.C. police force to raise money, sending supporters a fundraising email under the subject line, President Trump just took control of the D.C. police. I mean, they're proud of this. The message sent by the Trump National Committee, JFC, declares in bold letters, DJT is taking control of the D.C. police, and frames the move as a decisive step to stop crime and make America safe. So there it is. And then you come down here. The email features his Truth Social post about taking over D.C. and urges recipients to respond immediately, complete a survey, and submit contributions before midnight deadline. These survey links lead to a donation form. So here it is. Do you support Donald Trump in stopping crime and keeping America safe? Respond immediately. And then here's his post. DC will be liberated today. Crime, savagery, filth, and scum will disappear. Well, when are you leaving, pal? I will make our capital great again. The days of ruthlessly killing or hurting innocent people are over. I quickly fixed the border. 0 illegals in the last 3 months. DC is next. Thank you for your attention on this matter, DJT. And then submit a response now with a donation. So that's who these people are. The solicitation cast the takeover as a battlefront in Trump's so-called law and order platform, telling donors this is the front line. You will help Trump stop crime and restore order. In recent days, Trump-aligned federal agents have set up street checkpoints in parts of D.C., pulling over drivers and drawing protests from residents and civil liberties groups. The fundraising appeal is the latest in a series of Trump fundraising pushes tied directly to headline grabbing political actions, blending policy announcements with urgent calls for financial support. So, yeah, folks, I mean, nothing to see here, just another Trump grift taking over the streets. The Don't Tread on Me crowd has completely went silent, or they're either sitting back, one or the other. They're either sitting back silent at the moment or they're cheering it on. But to the ones that are sitting back silent, I would really ask you to stop and check yourself and think about everything you ever warned us about that is now happening right in front of your faces. And maybe you could somehow start to turn around and come back to a voice of reason if you ever had one to start with. These people are disgusting. They have no bottom. They will always find a way to grift, and you can bet your ass they will always find a way to make themselves the victim in the story. But I am not going to sit and listen to 2 sons of billionaires sit and tell me about how hard they've had it and expect me to feel 1 ounce of sympathy or compassion for them. I wouldn't under any circumstances. I save up my sympathy and compassion these days for people who truly are in dire straits and truly are going through hard times and suffering. Not 2 spoiled, pampered dudes that are now trying to act like they're the tough guys. They're 2 of the most unmanly men I've ever seen that have latched onto this alpha male bullshit. And I have nothing for them, and no one should. And all we can do is sit back and hope that we can make it through the next 4 years and come out the other side with the democracy still standing in some way, shape, or form enough to get it back and get the reins away from these people. Yeah, a listener reached out to me and say something that I thought too. He was like, my original thought when Donald Trump first came along years ago, this listener said, you know what, I was kind of a conspiracy theorist, and I thought maybe this guy was just a Democratic plant, just to screw things up on the campaign trail for Republicans. That's one I kind of entertained the thought of for a little while back then. And I kind of wish that's how it would have been, because then we wouldn't have had this kind of nonsense for another 30 years and we could have all breathed. But unfortunately, we're going to have to save every breath we can to keep calling this shit out, and we will. We will continue to fight on the right side of history, and when anyone says, why are you talking? I always go back to this. I want this channel to stand for my grandchildren and my great-grandchildren to look at it and say that when 1930s Germany came to America in the 2020s, my granddad didn't fall for it, and the people that subscribed to his channel, the platform that he built, those people didn't fall for it. That's why I do what I do, and that's why I thank you so much for supporting what I do.